premieres April 4th.
Step away from my brother.
Tuesday at 8 on Fox 10. Fox 10 News at 5 starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for Fox 10 News at 5. I'm Matt Rodewald.
And I'm Christy Siefkin. Linda Williams has the night off.
Today has been predicted by some to be one of the busiest days in the history of the city of Phoenix.
Hustle and bustle all weekend long. So many events going on throughout downtown, and they coincide, of course, with the Final Four tournament being here.
Fox 10's Courtney Griffin is live. He has a look at what people are doing as they flood the streets of Phoenix as the D-backs just let out a couple minutes ago.
Oh gosh, there are so many people in downtown Phoenix. We just got to the March Madness Music Festival, and this is filled to capacity. It was last night, and it is again today. So that means 20,000 people are here at Margaret T. Hans Park, right off Central and McDowell. Now, Blink-182 is coming on in just a few minutes, and then we have Macklemore tonight and Aerosmith. And this is just one of many events going on in downtown Phoenix. Downtown Phoenix is being tested tonight to see just how many people she can hold during the storm of events going on in this area. Earlier this week, Mayor Greg Stanton said this about this evening.
It's probably going to be the busiest night in the history of downtown Phoenix.
It's day 3 of the March Madness Music Festival.
I think it's awesome. I think it's great that they're having this for the community and for Phoenix to just get together and see some music and enjoy this nice day.
Last night, the free concert reached capacity around 7:30 and no one else was let in.
I'm just hoping that we get in and we don't get cut off at capacity.
So today, people are lining up early.
I don't know, 20 minutes maybe?
So why are you waiting in line today?
Mainly to see Blink-182 and Macklemore.
Been to games last night and this tonight, and hopefully see Aerosmith. We can hang out that long.
Today was also opening day for the Diamondbacks.
I've been to every opening day since I got back into the Valley.
It's a tradition for a lot of folks.
For me, it is the start of spring. It's everything that's good about being here in Arizona.
Just the atmosphere around the stadium and how excited everyone is.
There's also Fan Fest, Phoenix Pride, Phoenix Symphony, and a Suns game, all taking place in or around downtown.
Go D-backs!
All right, so 20,000 people out here. Doesn't seem as busy as it was last night, but there's still so many folks out here. Again, the concert is just about to start. People are having a great time. So 20,000 here, about 50,000 at Chase Field for the D-backs game. So there's at least 70,000 people in downtown Phoenix. With all those other events going on, there's just so many people. So if you're in this area, just know that there's going to be a lot of traffic. So bring patience tonight. And if you have any questions or you need some updates, you are encouraged to download the NCAA Final Four app. They'll be giving updates on there. And of course, we'll be giving updates tonight. Reporting live, Courtney Griffin, Fox 10 News.
Thank you. Well, protesters, they shut down the Phoenix Pride Parade for a time at 3rd Street and Osborne earlier today. The protesters were immigrants' rights activists, upset that the Human Rights Campaign they feel should be doing more for immigration rights. The blockade only lasted a few minutes. The Phoenix Pride organization released a statement saying it's always willing to work with members of our community to end oppression and injustice of any kind.
But that protest did not stop people from having a good time at the parade. And for more than 35 years now, Phoenix Pride has been a tradition right here in the Valley.
Today, thousands of people gathered to show their support for the LGBT community. Marcy Jones has that story.
Exploding with color, creativity. An act of bravery.
What pride means to me is being yourself and being who you want to be. I think a lot of people
Meanwhile, people donating their hair and serving up smiles near 3rd Street and Palm Lane earlier this morning.
Yeah, the Me Hug Foundation was collecting hair donations for children who have cancer. The group plans on collecting the hair in order to create wigs for those kids. We spoke with a man with the Me Hug Foundation who says that this event is more than just about donating hair. He says the event's about recognizing true beauty.
She said, "Here, this is for
were collected from a Valley home earlier this week. The fox was caught this morning and taken to an animal sanctuary, and the babies were found on Monday, of course, after the homeowners called thinking that it was roofs on top of their rat. Instead, it was these darling little guys. Critter Tech was the group that found the baby foxes. They set up a trap in hopes of reuniting the mom with the babies. Critter Tech's founder says that he thinks the mama fox was in the attic because she was trying to find a safe place.
I know that, especially when an animal is going to give birth to something, they're looking for something safe and secure.
They plan on setting surveillance cameras in hopes of finding the baby fox's father.
Well, the saying goes that dogs are man's best friend, but these dogs are proving to be just a little bit more than that. Canine companion.
Going on this weekend, we'll take a look at your forecast for the rest of today and, of course, into the start of your work week.
And the champ.
A church in Texas holding its first Sunday service after losing 13 members in a bus crash.
And its investigation continues into that fatal crash. The first victims are being laid to rest. Fox News correspondent Will Carr has that story.
The investigation.
For their first severe weather alert that's happening through Texas.
Some showers. We'll take a look at your extended forecast coming up right after the break.
Fox 10 AccuWeather forecast with your exclusive AccuWeather forecast with Christy Seekin on Fox 10 News.
We couldn't have asked for better weather. We really have seen beautiful conditions throughout the course of this very busy weekend in the Valley. I know many of you are grateful for that as you've been outside enjoying all of the entertainment. 81 right now at Sky Harbor. A little breezy out there, just like what we saw on Friday. In fact, winds are 12 miles an hour at Sky Harbor right now. And we're going to see yet another round of windy conditions as we get into the start of your work week. Relatively quiet in California. Starting to see a little bit of precip making its way into Nevada. This cold front, as it advances through the Great Basin into the northern sections of our state, we're going to see those winds kick up yet again, and we're also going to see cooler air settling in over Arizona. So a little bit of a change in the forecast before we see much warmer conditions. Because of the wind out there, we do in fact have a section of the state underneath a wind advisory. This is for northeastern Arizona. That goes into effect tomorrow morning. It will last until 9 o'clock at night. Gusty winds between 35 and 45 miles an hour, and the potential for some blowing dust, because it doesn't look like this will be a particularly wet system. Dust on the ground with the potential of a little bit of movement there. Gusty winds right now in many places across the state. 30 in Safford, 23 for Kingman, 24-mile-an-hour gusts in Prescott. Temperatures beautiful, though, across Arizona. 60 for Window Rock, 75 for Kingman, 86 for Yuma, and 79 for Casa Grande, 73 for Safford. And then right here in the Valley, numbers anywhere from 76 in Florence to 83 degrees in Surprise, 81 in Sky Harbor, upper 70s for both Deer Valley and for Scottsdale. Today, very close to the seasonal average, 1 degree above it, in fact. Much warmer back in 1943 when we hit 98 degrees for our afternoon high. And as we get into the next couple of days, we're going to see much warmer temperatures. But before we look at that, I want to show you the national picture. We've got some snow and rain, a mix of those, I should say, within parts of the Intermountain West, parts of Montana into Wyoming. But the real weather maker, it is right here. We're looking at some isolated activity in Texas, and then the bulk of it, severe thunderstorm activity making its way into parts of Louisiana and Mississippi. This storm will continue to march to the east through parts of Arkansas, stretching into parts of Tennessee and potentially the Ohio Valley as well. Gusty winds, the potential for some tornadoes. We've already seen that large-sized hail and some of the damaging winds, and this will continue to be a threat overnight and into the early morning hours tomorrow. Tonight in Arizona, though, things should be pretty calm out there. We'll see 40 for Winslow, Upper 40s for Kingman, 62 degrees for Lake Havasu, Yuma, where you'll be about 59 overnight, 46 in Globe, and then 45 degrees for Safford. And then tomorrow, it will still be warm out there, but not too bad. We'll see 65 for Prescott, 84 into Casa Grande, 58 for Show Low, 69 into Winslow, and then 76 degrees for Douglas. Mostly clear skies out there tonight. You're going to enjoy a great rest of your evening as we wrap things up with all the festivities. Although the festivities continue tomorrow. What am I saying? The rest of the weekend festivities. Breezy though, as we get into the afternoon and evening. Heads up Phoenix, definitely heads up into the high terrain of northeastern Arizona. We'll enjoy the 80s, and then we're right back into those 90s as we get into your Thursday and your Friday.
82 degrees today. You had the roof open at Chase Field for opening day. Absolutely perfect. You can't ask for anything better.
We certainly couldn't. Our tower cam was shaking a little bit earlier, so we have had the wind on and off, but I don't think people care because everything else is so great out there.
Nice and breezy. It's fine with us.
It's beautiful.
Thank you, Christy.
You're welcome.
Coming up next here on the news here, a violent assault streamed live on Facebook, and none of its 36 viewers alerted police. The charges that a Chicago teen is now facing. West charges brought this weekend in the case of a sexual assault of a Chicago teen.
This is very disturbing. The attack was streamed live on Facebook, and none of the 36 viewers alerted authorities that this was happening. Fox News correspondent Brian Yennis has the details.
Chicago authorities issuing a warrant for the arrest of another teenage boy following a sexual assault streamed live on Facebook. Investigators looking for a 15-year-old male.
Young men responsible, they should be ashamed of themselves. They've humiliated themselves, humiliated their families, and now they're going to be held accountable for what they did.
The charges stem from the sexual assault of a 15-year-old girl last month. Police say multiple videos of the attack were made, including the version streamed live on the social network. Some 40 people watched the assault live, and nobody notified authorities.
We've seen a couple of acts in this city now in the last few months involving social media, and it just disgusts me that people would look at those videos and not pick up the phone and dial 911.
The latest warrant coming as police announced the first charges in the case. A 14-year-old male is accused of aggravated criminal sexual assault.
Next, the Senate Judiciary Committee will vote on Judge Neil Gorsuch. Welcome back. Tomorrow, the Senate Judiciary Committee will be voting on Judge Neil Gorsuch's Supreme Court nomination.
But the real fight over whether or not Gorsuch will advance to the nation's highest court will happen on the floor of the Senate. Fox's Caroline Shively has the story from Washington.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell tells Fox News Sunday Judge Gorsuch will be confirmed to the Supreme Court this week, no matter what.
Exactly.
The White House releasing 2 financial disclosure forms filed by Flynn, and it shows that he earned more than $1.3 million for consulting work and speeches. It did not include speeches that he gave for 3 separate Russian companies, one of those speeches being the Kremlin's state-sponsored TV network RT. Adam Schiff is calling for an independent special commission to take over that investigation. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, though, says that it won't be necessary.
We don't need yet another investigation. We know the FBI is looking at it from their perspective. It's being handled appropriately, and it will be handled well.
The Senate Intelligence Committee will be hearing from analysts who originally put the reports of Russia's election meddling in the coming days.
In Russia, police remain on high alert after last weekend's anti-corruption protests in Moscow. The police presence has been implemented to avoid a repeat when over 1,000 people were arrested. There have been calls on social media for more protests, and the Russian government is attempting to limit influence by blocking some social media channels. Thousands of people demonstrated throughout the country last Sunday. It was the largest display of discontent in years.
In Israel tonight, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu inaugurating a joint U.S.-Israeli missile interceptor. That interceptor was known as David's Sling. It's designed to counter medium-range missiles of the type possessed by Iranian-backed Hezbollah militants in Lebanon. And Netanyahu said that defending Israel is of what he called the utmost importance. It officially became operational at the ceremony. David's sling marks the completion of a multi-tiered defense system.
Back here in the Valley, police in Chandler are searching for a gun that was used in a deadly shooting. Police say the shooting happened around 6:30 last night.
Opening day special, you know, past couple years I've been here, we haven't had much luck winning on opening day, so man, it's good to start the year off with a win.
What was it like in there? Did you take a few shots to the ribs? Did you get wet?
Somebody lost a shoe. I saw some shoe floating around. No shots to the rib. I did get a nice ice bath afterwards, though.
20th anniversary season is off to the best possible start. Much more from the undefeated first place D-backs coming up in a few minutes. We're live in downtown Phoenix. I'm Drew Soisher, 12 News.
Hey, I'll take it. We'll call them undefeated. Hey, let's head things over now to Ryan Cody, who's been with some of the fans who showed up for opening.
101 near Broadway happened earlier today. DPS says that the driver was going south in the northbound lanes around 5 o'clock this morning. That driver ended up getting into a wreck with another car near Broadway. Luckily, there were only minor injuries. Troopers say that they're investigating the wrong way driver for a possible DUI.
New details tonight. A Phoenix police officer hit after a car loses control and Greenway Parkway and 2nd Street. That's where it all happened. A car crossed the center median and drove into the oncoming westbound lanes of traffic last night. Police say that they don't know how that car lost control, but they believe that it may have been a medical reason associated with it. The officer was next to a tow truck driver and managed to push them out of the way before he was hit. The driver was taken to the hospital where he remains in extremely critical condition. The officer, though, is expected to be okay.
And gas prices today holding well above $2 a gallon. According to GasBuddy.com, the average price of gas is riding in at about $2.33. Now, here in Arizona, we're paying about 10 cents less at $2.23 a gallon. Hawaii currently has the highest gas prices, not a shocker. The average there is $3.03 a gallon. And South Carolina has the cheapest prices, costing an average of $2.03 a gallon.
Always the cheapest in the low country. And while visits to national parks have increased last year, this means that the National Park Service spent nearly $12 billion in maintenance. That includes having $371 million in maintenance backlog for the Grand Canyon. President Trump's latest budget proposal includes a 12% cut to the Department of the Interior, and that would eliminate $120 million used for buying federal lands. The proposal would see that money go towards maintaining existing national parks.
Well, back here in the Valley, there's a new bakery in town.
The ingredients are fresh, the coffee organic, and their purpose is to make a difference. Fox 10's Anita Roman has more.
From the flaky, buttery croissants to the fudgy brownies, sinful cinnamon rolls, and luscious lemon bars, the display case at Lilac Bakery is filled with delectable desserts.
They go, "This is incredible," and then I go, "Well, you know, everything is made in-house from scratch." And when they hear that, the reaction is even better.
Pastry chef and owner Lauren Paulson started baking at the age of 15. By her senior year of high school, she baked for a local restaurant in Washington State where she grew up. After graduation, she earned a degree from the Culinary Institute of America.
I've just been around at small bakeries, large resort hotels, and I just found my niche is I just wanted to work at a small bakery and make stuff from scratch.
In February, she opened that small bakery on the southwest corner of 28th Street and Indian School. Making sure that everything is homemade is key, but so is giving back.
At the end of the day, I have my baristas closed down, and we take stuff that hasn't sold and we give it to the Salvation Army because I don't believe in throwing waste away. Clock out. I believe that it should go to someone who needs it, and what's the point of putting it in the garbage when I can just drive a couple blocks down the street and give it to a Salvation Army and they could use it and give it to people who need it.
It means a lot because we receive everyday people who come for help, you know, and this food is going to go directly to them.
So we have bran muffin,
Deliveries to the Salvation Army have become as common as frosting cupcakes for Paulson, who says becoming a part of the community means taking care of those who live in it. Anita Roman, Fox 10 News.
The Lilac Bakery will be holding a grand opening on Saturday, April 22nd, and the All About Animals Rescue Group will be on hand for fostering and adoption opportunities.
Well, later in the show, technology, as you know, a vital part of everyday life, but there has been a bit of a resurgence with a craft from the past. We will tell you about it after the break.
Fabulous.